Alright guys, welcome back to Coniferia. We are once again gonna work on the harbor area in this episode. I want to thank you guys so much for all the feedback and nice suggestions and comments on my most recent episodes where we built this harbor area. I'm definitely gonna implement some of it today, so that's gonna be exciting. I had two kind of open questions or concerns, I guess you could say, in that episode. One was whether this slope here is too steep, especially considering it's kind of heavy cargo trains, freight trains that use it. To which several of you guys commented, yes, it is definitely too steep. So it's good to have that covered. So I'm gonna have to try and find a fix for that in this episode. The second sort of open question I had during the last episode was whether we should change the railway network that I was using. And so I've changed to this American wood texture. It's a Railway 2 network by Revo. I'm gonna make sure to link it in the description. The previous network I used was from Runx 69, and it was quite nice and I liked it, but the issue I found, which I also shared with you guys during the last episode, was that the elevated sections just seemed too thin, basically. And I guess I can just elaborate on what I actually mean. So if we just grab like a section here and we make, let's see if we can just do this quickly. Yeah, we're just gonna yoink. Let's raise it a bit, make an elevated section. Something like this. So as you guys can see, it's just a little too thin. And it doesn't matter which one. Did I use this one? I used the wooden, this one. Something like this, right? So it's quite a high detailed, nice looking network, but I much prefer the bulkiness of this new network we're using, the bulkiness of the elevated sections in particular. So you could say that I've already go ahead and changed that, and I've made sure to change to this network throughout the entire region, actually. There are only some station tracks that actually use the previous Runx network, and at some point I'm gonna get around to fixing that, but I won't do it right now because it's kind of finicky to work with these train stations. I'm pretty sure there's a mod to enable me to easily change it. Customize tracks. Well, there you go. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do that right after the recording then. Won't be too bad. Anyways, the big problem, of course, that you guys all agreed on identifying in the last episode is that this segment here is just too steep. So I'm gonna have to find a solution for that. Now, one of the suggestions that I quite liked was the idea that there'd actually be an old bridge that also connects the island to the mainland of the region. But this bridge is still used for freight trains, so it's sort of separated from the passenger trains. And I think I'm actually gonna try and go with that suggestion, and we'll create an old bridge over here, I think. That is gonna, in this case, it's actually both gonna carry cars and trains, but it's only gonna carry freight trains, is my idea. And then these new bridges, these relatively new bridges, were built for, two reasons. One, to increase the capacity, of course, and just to have more modern infrastructure. But I guess a secondary option could be that during like an economic downturn a couple of decades ago, the city started some major infrastructure projects to kind of get the economy going again. To inject capital into the economy, and there you go. We've got these overly complicated bridges. They aren't too bad, but I think one change I'm gonna have to make if we create an additional old bridge that carries the freight line is that I'm gonna reduce this from a 4-lane rail bridge to just a 2-laner, because otherwise it already looks a bit excessive, because I mean, Port Douglas, this train station is modular, as you guys can see, so we can expand it and add additional lines, but I don't think that's going to be necessary for quite a while. So I think it's a bit overkill that we've got a 4-track railway bridge crossing this strait. So we're going to reduce that and slim down the profile of this bridge, and hopefully that's also going to, you know, help make the old bridge not look as much out of place, because we're going to have pretty much 3 bridges crossing the straits at the same place. So it's gonna look odd no matter what. Now, when we've finished up this whole bridge revamp thingy, then my next plan for this episode is to fill out the first part of the harbor with some actual industry, and I'm thinking oil. We're gonna go for some of that black golds, see if we can actually earn a buck or two in this game. That would be nice to try at least. We'll see how far we get with it, because I might choose to just do the oil harbor part, but that won't, of course, include any production facilities, I mean pump jacks, because we wouldn't have those right here, and I don't think they're selling oil here anyways. If I go that route, then of course I'm gonna create a massive deficit, but maybe I have time to both create a production facility somewhere throughout the region, and the cargo facilities to contain, refine, and export the oil. We'll see how far we get. I'm making a lot of promises now that never turns out all that well. First thing we're gonna start with this special bridge. So I've grabbed this Kennebec, I probably butchered that, lift bridge of the Steam Workshop, and it's a non-functioning functioning lift bridge. I know there's a mod and a few bridges that actually function and lift, but for now I'm gonna go with this because I really like the aesthetics of it, and I don't consider it all that important whether it can actually lift for ships or not. So I think we're gonna start by patching that up, and I think I'm gonna place it here right next to the new highway bridge. And I actually I actually just turned my head, or stretched my head, to get a better look at my computer screen. Oh man, I'm 30 years old, by the way. It kind of reminds me of when you were a kid playing, PlayStation or Xbox, and you would, like, if you were driving something, you would turn the controller to one side while clicking on the joypad, as if that was to make your turn sharper. Oh boy. Anyways, this is how the bridge looks. So this is the original bridge from the 1920s that led to Port Douglas. It's got a really basic old 2-lane road here on top, and then we've got our single lane, I guess you could say, railway network down here, and this is of course only gonna lead to the freight capabilities in the harbor, and then it's gonna connect up over here somewhere. So something I guess I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna of course have to connect this with the existing rail infrastructure, and then I'm gonna have to it has to look like the original rail went here, I suppose. And then when the new bridge was built, the freight line was disconnected over here from the passenger stuff. So yeah, we'll see. I'll try to conjure something up now, and then we'll see if it looks all right. I think for now it's just important that we get this done so that we have some proper freight access in here that isn't dependent on this very steep ramp here. So let's move on, continuing. All right, so yeah, I'll be the first to admit that I haven't spent a ton of time thinking about how to make this look real nice. For now, I just want a solution that works, and then we can always iterate on this and make some changes. For instance, to this really old road if we want to. But for now, I just wanted the connection to be there and this old bridge to be in place. And this looks kind of cool. We've got our very first freight train coming in with some cargo, using this old route. So now I mean, this looks kind of wonky, right? Damn. Anyways, we'll fix that up later. Now I think I'm going to fix up this train bridge. I'm going to reduce it in size so that it's just a 2-laner, I think. Yeah. And then of course I'm gonna fix this ramp as well. Na 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 na. Do 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 do. What? Na 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 na. Never mind. All right. So the recap: we've fixed up the rail network as well, reduced to 2 lanes. I guess 2 tracks is probably the better term. Adjusted this. I have no idea what this is called, but I adjusted its size. Made it a little smaller to represent that we only have a single pillar now. I mean, it might be a single pillar, but oh my god, this is a thick boy. Look at that. Anyways, fixed it up over here as well, so we've got 2 tracks all along here. Now I think we are gonna create this oil harbor here, which should be fairly interesting. So if I remember right, I need to create an industrial area and make some kind of administrative building at first before I can place anything. I have never really worked with the oil industry stuff. As you guys will probably know, I am horribly inexperienced in the industry's DLC, but I know I need this oil industry main building to start everything off, and maybe I'll place it over here and see if I can sort of adjust it to fit nicely within these pillars or something like that. Something like this. Can we remove this pillar? We can. Move this a little forward, I guess. Like so. And I've actually got a road here as well, which I'll just kind of drag all the way in here. Very nice. I don't think I am gonna do too much detailing. So I'll cheap out with the... You guys know I just add some stained decals if I want a bit of a detailed look without actually spending too much time detailing it up. There you go. Maybe a little odd with these nice trees, but we've got our oil industry main building now. And middle petroleum. I think we're gonna call this Coniferia Petro. If you've got a nicer suggestion and maybe a backstory, then hit me up. We're gonna make some oil fields as well. I'm thinking that will be on the mainland and maybe some offshore stuff. But for now, we're just gonna build the storage and export facilities. And I know this is gonna absolutely break the bank, which is a bit of a shame, because even though we don't really care about turning a profit, then, tax revenue has been slowly increasing, so I'm not even that much in the red anymore. But yeah, we'll start out with building the oil harbor. Whoa. And then I'll see if there's time to also build some production facilities. All right, I think it's time we do a little recap as always. So, I think this is sort of the extent that Coniferia Petro is gonna have, or is gonna occupy in Port Douglas harbor at least, and it's actually taking up quite a chunk of the total footprint of the harbor. But I think it looks pretty cool. I tried using these pipe networks to connect it up. I know they don't, really connect to the other piping on this on these tanks, but yeah, they look cool nonetheless. You can use a node controller to make them narrower so that they connect, but the issue is that these segments here, where they're like screwed together, they don't actually stretch with node controller, so it looks a bit odd, unfortunately. But yeah, I still kind of like the look. Now, I guess it's no surprise that I don't really know a lot about the logistics of oil refinery and export and import. But I do know that pretty frequently the oil tankers will dock quite a few yards offshore, and they can then attach directly to the piping necessary. And yeah, I mean, this industrial pipeline it's a little, cyberpunk-ish, and probably a little too complex for this need. But I just love this asset or this network so much, and I knew I wanted to use it here, and it leads from this unit over here. So yeah, like I said, I don't know how logical all this stuff is, but I kind of like the look of it. I added some custom support here because this network doesn't have too deep support, unfortunately. But yeah, I may raise the seabed here because it is quite deep currently, and it does look a bit odd with these breakwaters being so tall, so entrenched. And I think, well, they do reach to the bottom, at least over here. And how about over here? Hello? Can I swim, please? No, it doesn't stretch all the way to the bottom, but it's a procedural object, so I can just stretch it. Anyways, I think we're gonna wrap up this episode with some detailing. I think it's gonna be for a later episode, possibly the next episode, that we build, some pump jack country somewhere and get some oil producing going, because I definitely want to do that. And this is just gonna be another expense that doesn't really add anything to the city, functionally at least. But I want to produce oil in Coniferia, so that might be for next episode. But like I said, let's wrap up this episode with some additional detailing here and there. I'm gonna have to be a little careful with how much I detail, of course. I don't want to go absolutely ham. Alright, guys, I think this just about wraps up what we'll get done in this episode. Like I said, in the next episode, or maybe the one after that, we're gonna look into creating, you know, some actual oil producing facilities, which we obviously don't get right now. So this is just massive deficit, but somehow the weekly income isn't even that bad. So I'm starting to turn a profit here in the region, and I'm not sure why. It might be due to the population starting to settle. I've been building lots of stuff recently, and people are still moving in. So yeah, that obviously increases the tech space. Yeah, so we finished up detailing this. Now, if you to ask me what the mantra or logic behind detailing was, then I'm sorry to disappoint, but I just looked at anything just slightly industrial looking, and I just threw it at this. So we've got some forklifts, we've got some containers, because why not? Then I'm pretty sure this is actually a crane prop, but it just kind of looks cool in here. I could work to hide it. Let's see. Maybe do like this. That could be. Nah, we're just gonna keep it like that. It doesn't matter that it's a crane that's placed completely weirdly. It adds to the grungy industrial look, and grungy and industrial it certainly looks. I think this might be a good place to dump a body in like a barrel or something. If you are part of the mob here in Coniferia. Anyways, like I said, that's probably what we're... Whoa, what's this? Wink, let's remove that. That's what we got done so far. I'm thinking Coniferia has a pretty rich history with oil as well. This looks like the type of landscape where you can have oil drillings inland and offshore as well. So even though there isn't much oil coming in currently, 0 barrels actually, then no worries, we'll rapidly expand the oil industry here in the region, so that there's oil that can be processed here. And that should be very interesting, like I said, probably next episode. Anyways, if you've stuck with me for this long, thank you guys so much for watching. I would really appreciate a like and a comment. You don't even have to write anything special. You can just say hi and I'll try to answer. And of course, if you haven't subscribed and enabled notifications yet, you are very welcome to do so. And of course, if you got any feedback, like all the good feedback I got on previous episode that led to some big changes here, then please let me know. I would really like to hear even more feedback from you guys. Can't wait to continue with the harbor. We are gonna need lots of more generic industry, of course, as we get closer to Outer Brickville, and some more specialized industry out here. Like I said, I'm hoping for a container type port here, but we'll see. Lots of possibilities. I think that's it for now. So I hope you all have a fantastic evening and have had a great new year. New Year's Eve is probably over when I post this episode, and I hope you stayed safe. See you guys. Bye.